I made a post the other day on social media, and it was sort of my response to some posts that I had read from people in my community who call themselves empowerment coaches, who call themselves spiritual leaders. And I was really surprised at how derogatory they were, how they were shaming people, in particular women, and how judgmental the comments were. I thought these are people in my community who think these things, who have these opinions, and they're very judgmental. And I thought I was upset by this. So I spoke out about it and I decided to do a little video on it because I was thinking about why it upset me so much, and there's just something I wanted to talk about with judgments. And judgments are a very interesting thing. When you make a judgment about something, you know what? It doesn't require that you have a conversation with another person. You've basically had a conversation with yourself. You've had the dialogue inside your head. Sometimes, though, you can find people that are in your community or in a group of friends or family who hold the same beliefs as you, and you can have conversations about them. But what that really does is it validates your opinion and it validates what you believe. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. However, if you've made a judgment or you have what you call an opinion, because a lot of people say, I'm not judging, that's just my opinion. Well, here's the thing about opinions. I do believe that you can have an opinion without judging someone. I do believe in having informed opinions. If I'm going to have an opinion about something, and it's especially if it's something that I don't understand or that I don't know about, I want to have a conversation with someone. I want to communicate with someone. And I want to know why it is that I'm feeling a certain way. That communication is so key in any relationship or in any topic that you want to have a conversation with, because it requires that you take the time and you do the hard work to try to understand. And I say this coming from a place because recently I realized that I was trying to come to an understanding about something. And for a long time, I have felt like there's a particular person in my life who I haven't gotten along with all the time, and we don't see eye to eye, and very often our conversations will end up being an argument and we have to kind of bring it down, and I don't want to be that way with this person. So I was wondering the other day what it was that I was feeling, and I realized that I was holding on to resentment. When I saw the resentment, I thought, wow, I'm making judgments based on this feeling that I'm holding on to, and it's preventing me from having a really good conversation with this person. And I haven't quite figured out how to have the conversation yet that I need to have. But I feel better because I realized that I was holding on to the resentment. And I feel that when we all take a look at why we feel the way that we feel, we can come to better understanding about ourselves. And then we can come to a better understanding of other people, because other people are going to have different opinions. They're going to have different ways that they do things in their life, or why they want to do something. And I think that to understand and to have an informed opinion on something, because it requires a conversation, it requires communication, which is far more difficult than it is to just make a judgment and make an assumption, because those two things don't require any kind of communication at all. I wanted to share that because I felt that it was really important. There's a lot of things right now where people are saying that you have to be like this to do that, or this is how you need to live your life, or this is what you got to do. And I do believe there's so many different ways to do the same thing. What I find empowering as a woman for me is different than my daughters. It's different than my mother, my sisters, my friends. So why would I want to impose what I believe, what I know is good for me on someone else? Because maybe that's not what's best for them. We can discuss ideas, we can talk about it, and if I think someone's making a not great choice, I want to maybe talk about it with them. But to judge someone based on their choices is really difficult, because we don't walk in someone else's shoes, and it doesn't a judgment requires us not to try to understand at all. I'm really trying hard for myself, because for my own healing and my own journey, to look at what I'm holding on to. Why I might be looking at this situation in a particular way. And just because I ask people and I have communication, it also doesn't mean that I have to change my mind. But it means that I've taken the time to try to understand someone else's position and to try to understand and have compassion for where they're at and where they're thinking. And it also means that I'm free at any time, just like everyone else is, to change my mind about something. I don't have to hold on to a belief for such a long time that that's all it is. That I can change my mind about what I'm feeling, what I'm believing. I can let go of things, and really choosing to see those things is very difficult, because when I saw that I was holding on to resentment, and that resentment was actually preventing me from having a conversation that I needed to have with someone, I thought, wow, like that's on me. That's not on them. And that's not to say that they haven't done things too that they need to look at, but I can't make them look at that. I can only look at myself and what I'm doing and what's hurting me. And it's really the resentment and the judgment that's hurting myself. It's not hurting them, because they might walk away and not even realize that they did something. They might just think that everything's fine. So I'm really working hard on that, and I wanted to share that, and I hope that other people look at that too, and especially people who consider themselves leaders in empowerment. I don't necessarily consider myself a leader in that, but a leader for myself. I want to lead myself into a better understanding of who I am, and just a better understanding, and to have more compassion. Because when you have more compassion, when you let go of resentment, when you let go of judgment, you can actually be more grateful for things. And that's another thing that I'm going to talk about in another video, is gratitude, and how gratitude and that can all kind of go together. So just keeping it real over here.